Hello, my name is Mike Poupko, and I'm here to teach you how to play the ukulele. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this course, which is intended for people who have no musical experience and are interested in learning how to play the ukulele. This course is also for those of you who do have some experience playing other instruments, but would also like to learn the ukulele. To appreciate the history and cultural roots of this beautiful instrument, let's first clarify that the Hawaiian pronunciation is ukulele. Many people now pronounce it ukulele. Throughout the course, we will learn techniques including general navigation of the instrument, chords, strumming, fingerpicking, percussive rhythms, scales, exercises, and plenty of fun songs in varying styles. If you stick with me throughout this course, you will have the skills and tools to learn countless songs on the ukulele. I'll also touch on some music theory basics for those of you who do have experience playing other instruments. If you find any part of this course to be challenging, please do not let that frustrate you. Just stick with it. One of the main things that I would want you to internalize is that the journey is, in fact, the destination. Please make sure that you enjoy the process and never lose sight of the goals of fun and self-expression. Practicing between lessons is an essential component to learning any instrument. I recommend practicing your instrument a minimum of 3 days per week for at least 30 minutes per session. When you're practicing, make sure you're repeating songs, exercises, chord progressions, patterns over and over again. When you play something one time, that's a performance. When you play it over and over again, you're practicing. We will be playing our instruments in this first lesson right after I go through some basic information that I feel you need to know before you start. Let's start by discussing the 3 most common sizes of ukuleles available today. The smallest is the soprano, the next size up is the concert, and the next size up from that is the tenor. There are larger sizes as well, including baritone and bass ukuleles. The soprano, the concert, and the tenor ukuleles are all tuned the same way and played exactly the same way. This course is designed for any of those 3 sizes: soprano, concert, or tenor. I will be playing a tenor because it's visually the largest of the 3 sizes and it will be easiest for you to see during the course. If your ukulele doesn't sound like mine, don't worry. It's probably because of the size difference and overall quality of your instrument compared to mine. I've been playing music professionally for over 25 years and teaching professionally for over 20. I'm not expecting you to sound like me, and you shouldn't either. All ukuleles have 4 strings. Each string is tuned to a corresponding letter or note from the musical alphabet. For those of you not familiar, the musical alphabet consists of the notes that we play in Western music. All instruments play the same notes. The musical alphabet is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it starts again, this time in what we call a higher octave or register. It then continues in a repeating pattern. In order to tune our instruments, we will need to know which note applies to each string. Speaking of tuning your instrument, it is essential to have a tuner of some kind. There are tuners that clip onto the head of your ukulele, like this, and feel the vibrations to determine if your strings are in tune or out of tune. There are handheld tuners that use a microphone to hear the pitches and determine if they're in tune or out of tune. And there are also apps on your mobile devices and tablets that use the microphones of those devices to determine if the pitches of your instrument are in tune or out of tune. I'd recommend a clip tuner for you to start with, but if you have another kind, that's just fine. Once we learn the names of the pitches associated with the strings of the ukulele, we'll come back and learn how to use a tuner. Let's start by learning the string numbers and then the corresponding letters of the musical alphabet. Grab your ukulele with your right arm and just hug it close to you like this. For now, just keep your left hand free. We don't need that yet. This is string number 1, or the A string. Hold your ukulele close to your body and use your right thumb to pluck string number 1 like this. Let's try that together. I'll count to 4, and then we'll play together. 1, 2, 3, 4. String number 1, the A string. Now let's move on to string number 2, the E string. Move your right thumb so it's over the second string instead of the first string, and pluck that one this time. With me, together, after I count to 4. Second string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. Now we can move on to the third string, the C string. Adjust your thumb on your right hand so it's hovering above the third string and ready to pluck. We'll play the third string, or the C string, 4 times together. First I'll count to 4. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. The third string, C. Now let's move on to the fourth string, the G string. Before we play string number 4, let's briefly discuss the difference between a high G and a low G. Most soprano, concert, and tenor ukuleles come from the manufacturer with a high G string. My ukulele has a low G string. That just means that mine will sound lower than yours, but the pitches are still the same. In other words, if I play string 4 like this, it's a G. If you do the same thing, yours is still a G, but it will sound like this. Now let's pluck string number 4, the G string, high or low. It doesn't matter. 4 times together with me. 1, 2, here we go, and string 4. To recap, the strings of the ukulele are string number 1, A from the musical alphabet, string number 2, E from the musical alphabet, string number 3, C from the musical alphabet, and finally, string number 4, high G or low G from the musical alphabet. When we played the open strings together, you may have noticed that yours did not sound the same as mine. That could very well be because your instrument is out of tune. And we need to be able to tune them pretty much every time we pick them up to practice or perform. I'm going to demonstrate how to use a tuner. I have a clip tuner right here. We're going to start by plucking string number 1. String number 1 is A. We need to make sure when we pluck the string that our tuner says the correct pitch. Find string number 1 with your right hand. Hover your thumb above the string. Then you'll notice if you follow the string all the way down to the headstock that it's attached to this tuner. This is a tuning peg. This is a tuner. Tuning peg, tuner. So I'm going to hold the tuning peg with my left hand. With my right thumb, I'm going to pluck the string. And with my eyes, I'm going to look at the tuner and see what pitch it says. Okay, I know that string number 1 is supposed to be A from the musical alphabet, but my tuner is telling me right now that it's a G. This is where it gets a little bit tricky for beginners. First, we need to determine if the note that our string is currently playing is too low or too high. We're going to do this by using the musical alphabet. I'm trying to get to the note A, and right now I'm on G. I happen to know, just like you, that G actually comes right before A in the musical alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then A. So that tells me that my string is tuned too low. I need to raise the pitch by tightening the string. So I'm going to pluck with my right thumb. With my left hand, I'm going to turn the tuning peg while looking at the tuner. And again, I'm tightening the string to raise the pitch so it says A instead of G. Turning slowly, not too aggressive. You'll hear it's going higher. Use your ear. And you'll also see by looking at the tuner that the pitch is going up. Okay? Once the tuner says the correct pitch, A, in this case for string 1, we then need to determine if we're in tune. We are not, because the line is below center. In other words, we're still a little bit too low. I need to continue tightening the string just a little bit, plucking and turning and watching. And there we go. The line went right in the middle, and my tuner happened to turn green. Not all tuners will turn green. You may just need to make sure the needle is in the center. If my string was too high instead of too low, it would look like this. The line is above center, and in my case, the tuner is red. So I'm now going to need to turn the tuning peg the opposite direction to make the pitch lower till it's in the middle. Now we have the correct pitch and in tune. We'll then repeat the same process for string number 2, or E, string number 3, or C, and string number 4. Tune your instrument every time you pick it up to practice or perform. The more you do it, the quicker and easier it will get. Now that we know the names of our strings and we know how to tune them, we're ready to learn how to read tablature. Tablature is basically a music reading shortcut for stringed instrument players. Standard music notation does apply to the ukulele, but it is not required to get you started playing the instrument. We're not going to deal with it in this beginner course. We will be dealing with tablature, chord diagrams, and chord strumming charts. The main difference between standard notation and tablature, or tabs, is that standard notation is understood by those who play any instrument, including piano, guitar, ukulele, trumpet, saxophone, etc. Tablature is exclusively for stringed instruments. Standard notation has 5 lines. Ukulele tablature has 4 lines. Each line corresponds to one of the 4 strings on your instrument. The bottom line is string 4. Anything written on this line should be played on string 4. 0 indicates open string, which means right hand only. That's all we're going to be dealing with here in the first lesson. We will add the left hand in lesson 2. Take a look and see how there's a 0 written on the bottom of the line, and it's written 4 times in a row. That means that we pluck the 4th string with no left hand 4 times in a row like this. I'll count to 4, and then you try it with me. String 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Anything written on the 2nd line from the bottom would be played on the 3rd string, the C string. Notice how the next 4 notes are on the 2nd from bottom line, and there were 4 of those as well. Let's go ahead and play those together. The 3rd string 4 times in a row. I'll count to 4. Here we go together. 1, 2, 3, string 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. As you may have guessed, anything written on the next line above that one is played on the 2nd string, the E string. Play the E string with me 4 times in a row after I count to 4. 1, 2, 2nd string. And anything written on the top line would be played on the 1st string, the A string. Let's go ahead and play that 4 times together as well, just like the music in your workbook says. 1, 2, 3, string 1. If notes are stacked on top of each other vertically, it means that you pluck or strum multiple strings at the same time, a chord. You do that with your thumb, like this. You can also brush your index or middle finger of the right hand across the strings like this. Brushing your fingers across multiple strings is called strumming. Strumming is something we'll discuss quite a bit throughout the course. Lastly, for lesson 1, I wrote a little study piece called Open-Minded. Open-Minded will help you practice playing your open strings as well as get you used to reading tablature. So, the first 3 notes of the song are all written on the second line from the bottom, meaning string number 3. 3 zeros in a row means I'm going to pluck that note 3 times like this. Okay, the next measure has 3 zeros written on the bottom line, meaning string number 4 this time, just like this. The next segment moves back to the second line from the bottom, or string number 3, and again, 3 zeros in a row, like this. And then finally, for the end of the first line, you'll see 3 zeros written on the second line from the top, or string number 2, or the E string, like this. Okay, so let's try line number 1 slowly together. I'll count to 4, and then we'll start. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Now let's take a look at the second line. Second line is very similar to the first line. You'll see 3 zeros written first on the second line from the bottom, indicating we're playing string 3 or the C string 3 times in a row again, just like this. Then moving on to the second line from the top, or string number 2, and again 3 zeros in a row, so we're going to pluck the string 3 times. And then back to the second line from the bottom, or the C string, or the third string. And finally, at the end of the second line, we're going to play the first string, or the top line, or the A string. And again, 3 zeros written in a row, indicating that we're going to pluck the string 3 times, like this. And let's try line 2 together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice job. Now let's play the song Open-Minded together. I'm going to use a metronome to help us keep a steady beat. A metronome is an electronic device or an app on your smartphone or tablet that makes a clicking or beeping sound at whatever tempo you choose. I'm going to play this at 60 beats per minute. So my metronome says 60. I'm going to hit start, and you're going to hear a beeping sound that will occur 60 times in 1 minute. Open-minded, 60 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. String 4. String 3. And then string 2. The second line. Third line. Fourth line. next line. 3, 4. And the last line. Last note, 1, 2, 3, 4, off. If you find this to be a little tricky, practice it for a couple days before you move on to lesson number 2. If you find this very easy, then move right on to the next lesson. We'll add the left hand in lesson 2. I don't know about you, but I find that pretty exciting. See you next time.